Bismillah tawakkaltu ala Allah, sedekah terbaik adalah sedekah yang menggetarkan hatimu. I take that.
10.
Of course RM10 lah kan. Ambil RM10 bagi sedekah pada kakak tu. Tinggal RM5 je. I got no money. Esok graduation day, mak pun tak tahu nak makan apa, dalam bank kosong.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everybody. Welcome to the Usahawan Kita Podcast. Today we're very honored, very grateful to have Mr. Fahdi Ghazali here. We'll tell you more about him, but I met Fahdi, I think maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, actually, in a seminar, and he was impressive from the beginning. And we shared a lot of ideas, especially around marketing. And I really wanted to get him on this podcast because I think a lot of the viewers are going to benefit greatly from the experience and the knowledge that Fahdi has. He runs Funnel Evo, which is a company that teaches people digital marketing in the Malay language. And he also, he has multiple ventures as well, which we can talk about later. Fahdi, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Faz, for inviting.
This will be like Dui Bahasa, dual language. So if you're comfortable speaking in English, you can speak to me in English. I know, like the instinct is when somebody speaks to you in English, you reply in English. But if you feel more comfortable responding in Malay, or especially for our Malay speaking audience, just feel free. I will understand.
Okay.
If I speak in Malay, people may not understand me. Okay, so maybe Fahdi, we can start a little bit by maybe sharing with the audience what you do.
Okay, all right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So first of all, thank you so much again. Like you said, if you ask me in English, so I tend to speak English. Anyway, so what I do now is basically we are helping people to make sure their business grow by using technology like digital marketing, softwares. And that's why we build our own software. And we do training, coaching, consulting. In fact, we have companies to we give away. We buy shares of the company, and then we help them to grow.
So like a private
Capital,
equity model.
Yeah, correct.
So it's kind of like a partnership model rather than just like a vendor/consultant model. Like you believe in these businesses, you know that your skills will help them grow. So you, instead of them paying you, you buy shares in their company and then grow together.
And then inshallah this year, inshallah dengan izin Allah, I think about another 20% untuk complete, kita akan launch our own college this year. Then that college is a TVET college, focus on we are going to create more digital marketers and content creators in Malaysia. Hopefully boleh pergi ke level international lah, insyaAllah. So this year is going to be the first year for Funnel Evo College.
Funnel Evo College. That sounds amazing because in 2012, my partners and I, we created this thing called Street Smart University, because what happened was we realized that the most important skills that will help you succeed in life are not taught in school. I think school focuses. Some people might call me a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, right? But I think as you ascend in business, I think we all start realizing that school was created as a factory to churn out employees and workers, and employees and workers generally they stay chained within the system to keep the machine running.
But then what is so special about this project is basically it's a TVET college. It's TVET college, meaning it's under government. That's why it takes time to like register because it's under kementerian, we call it kementerian over here. It's under government, so student can enroll to our college after, now they call it what, PMR, or I don't know, the education system keep on changing right now. So at the age of 16, so they don't need to take SPM. They just like straight away to TVET college by the age of 16, and then by the age of 17, they graduate, they can go to work, and we already receive few companies, I think more than 10, that willing to take them, work with them, and the best part is the salary, they are willing to pay about 3,000 plus.
Wow.
Can you imagine 17 years old, graduate from TVET college, receive salary 3,000 plus? Because nowadays everybody's talking about digital marketing, content creators, but then most of the entrepreneurs, they don't have the team, right, to like focus on that part. So that's why they are willing to pay.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
It's a skill. It's a
skill.
Yeah.
In fact, we don't need to go to university 4 years. We just need take like one year, just know how to edit videos using AI, copywriting AI, design photos using AI, and everything for 1 year. That's it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So TVET is basically technical and vocational training, skills training. In Singapore, we have something very similar. We call it the ITE, so Institute of Technical Education. You make a very good point in the sense that what companies value are the skills, not the certificate. The certificate is just a piece of paper. I went to university. I never used that piece of paper ever since I left university.
Correct.
But and so here's the other thing. I always ask people when they ask me whether they should invest money in higher education, like say MBA, master's degree, or doctorate, and the question I always ask them first is, what are you going to use it for? If you need it for the job you're going to take, sure, go and do it. But if you look at the cost of a master's degree, let's say a minimum of $150,000, so RM500,000 minimum, let's say in an overseas university, compared to say investing in, let's say, your highest level program. I don't know how much it costs, but I'm quite sure it's less than RM500,000, right? The skills that they're going to learn in with the less money that they invest compared to a master's degree is going to make them way more money than having to pay RM500,000 in educational debt.
Except if you want to be a professional,
Exactly.
lawyer, doctor, right?
Exactly.
Engineer.
Yeah. Correct.
Other than that, I don't think like. In fact, my sons, if I ask them, apa nak jadi bila besar, kan? They will say like, nak jadi macam papa. So papa apa? Apa kerja papa? You YouTubers, kan? So like, oh my god.
But I mean, also, I mean, that's also like a lot of times people see what they can see, but they don't see behind the scenes, right? Like I think they can see your content on YouTube or on Insta, on TikTok, and so on and so forth. They can see that you're a content creator, but the thinking behind the content, the amount of training that we had to go to be able to get that knowledge is tremendous. I mean, in fact, like right now, I'm learning from a mentor in the US, probably one of the best traders that I've ever met. Right, I'm learning how to trade from him, but it is essentially like a university program also. Like in the first 6 months, you don't expect to be, like, for example, if you wanted to be a doctor, you don't go into university or your first day on the job as a doctor and say, I want to do like open heart surgery. No, right? It takes time to build up those skills, and then once you build up those skills become valuable. And so I think what I would love for people to really realize here is, first of all, if you want to build those skills, everybody says, "Oh, I can just learn it on YouTube." You can't. Like, take it from somebody who I've spent over 150,000 US dollars on my own non-academic education. So paying people like Tony Robbins, paying people like Russell Brunson, paying people like Christopher Duncan, like all of my mentors. I can tell you very honestly, I started my first business at 17, and for maybe 15 years I was struggling. I wasn't making a lot of money. I was making just enough money to survive. Like, I would come when I came to Kuala Lumpur for, say, business meetings. I would take the bus, and then I would sleep in like $30 a night uh guest house, like behind Berjaya Times Square, sharing a $30 a night room with my business partner, right? And then and just making enough money to, say, survive lah, right? And my life path, my life trajectory completely changed when I met my mentor. The fastest, like, you probably could do it by yourself, but it's just going to take so much longer, right? My mentor, this was probably like, I met him at another seminar. So I paid about $15,000 to attend a seminar in KL by one of the top speaker trainers in the world, right? And I met this guy there. So I think one of the things we should understand is, when you are attending a course that costs $15,000, the price itself is a self-filtering mechanism. So the people that are going to be there are going to be quite high level, are people who can afford to pay that 15. And so I met my mentor there. About 2 months later, he dropped me a message. He says he wants to expand into Asia. So I said, sure, let's do something together. At that time, he didn't ask me to pay him. Like, we just went into a joint venture. In 2.5 weeks, we filled a room with 42 people, and we made $46,000 in one day. Right? It was my highest revenue day up to that point. I was like, wow, I made $46,000 in one day. But we split that, split 22, 20, 23, 23, right? On that same day, he at dinner, he was like, how much money did you make last year? I said, we made about $136,000 last year. It's like, well, you guys are smart, you guys are talented, you should be making at least $1 million a year. I said, I agree. I don't know how. Right? And he said, well, no problem. I've done it 7 times. I'll show you how. All it will cost you is $60,000 for 1 year mentoring. Obviously, I didn't have $60,000 at that point. I mean, I only made 100,000 the year before, and all of that, most of it was gone and reinvested into the company. But, like, to me, if I worked with this guy for 2.5 weeks and I made $23,000, imagine what I could do with him if I worked with him for 1 year. So I said, okay, but of course I renegotiated. I'm not going to pay you $60,000 upfront. I'll pay you $5,000 a month for 12 months, which also makes sense because of the $23,000. It covers about 4 to 5 months already. And then if it's not working within 4 to 5 months, I say, okay, if this is not working, I mean, I've given it quite enough time, right? But this is the best $60,000 I had ever spent, because it cut short my learning curve. And I think that's why people, like, for example, when you're teaching to in the TVET college, when you're teaching your courses to adults, obviously who are not 17, I don't think a lot of them may not necessarily understand the value of the amount of time that they are going to cut short. If I were to have done it without Chris, I would probably have taken, I don't know lah, but we managed to do about 1.2 million in 18 months. Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't 1 year, but it's 18 months. How many people
Good
can
already.
say, right, that you would generate like $1 million in 18 months? No. If I were to do it by myself, I don't even think I would have been able to do it by the time I'm 50, 40, 60 or 70, because I don't know. There's just so many things that could go wrong, so many things I could have done differently and not make it. So I think when people sign up for your programs, they really need to understand that what you're saving them is not even money. You're saving them time. Because if you don't help them, so let's say if you help them and they are able to make $500,000 ringgit in the next 12 months, it's a lot of money, right? But if they were to try to do it themselves, they might not even get there 10 or 20 or 15 years. Let's say they get it by the time they're 50. How much time do they have left?
Correct.
Yeah.
So in fact, I remember during my time dekat sekolah dulu, kat sekolah menengah. So sekolah menengah tu sekolah menengah sains Tengku Muhammad Faris Petra. 5 years I studied there. So dekat Dewan tu, at the main hall, dia ada satu papan warna merah. So dekat situ dia tulis, because I'm a school prefect, so I think every assembly I akan duduk kat depan tau. So the apa dia panggil papan dia panggil
apa, notice board?
Papan bukan notice board, dia like adalah something kan. Dia tulis atas tu, jika mahukan dunia, kita perlukan ilmu. Jika kita mahukan akhirat, kita perlukan ilmu. Jika kita mahukan dunia dan akhirat, kita perlukan ilmu. So like, nak dunia like, we are talking about making millions kan. Itu dunia lah tu. You nak buat rumah, you kena ada ilmu buat rumah or beli rumah kan. You nak apa? You nak kahwin, you kena ada ilmu untuk pilih siapa pun kita punya pasangan kan.
Yeah.
Kita nak bahagia, kita nak pergi travel kan. Nak pergi mana, you need to have knowledge. You kena ada knowledge kan. So knowledge ni dia boleh dapat daripada banyak cara and sources kan. Tapi the best is bila I belajar dengan guru, cikgu kan, panggil cikgu, dia kena ada sanad tau. Knowledge ni kena ada sanad.
Sanad apa? Sanad
ni like how can I explain
this
sanad?
This is one of those times.
Sanad. That is okay, it's okay.
10% I don't understand.
Sanad ni macam ni macam ni. Hadis Bukhari dan Muslim. So dia tahu, dia ada orang cakap okay, ujungnya hadis ni sahih. Bukhari dan Muslim. Dia sanad.
Yeah.
Dia like nak cakap macam ni
is verified.
Berasal daripada siapa? Cikgu. Cikgu ni dapat daripada cikgu ni. Dia ada sanad dia.
Oh, so like the lineage. Like the,
something like that.
Okay.
So bila kita dapat ilmu daripada cikgu ni, kalau kita tengok dekat YouTube, in fact boleh je belajar kat YouTube, tapi dia akan jadi like ambil sini sikit, situ sikit, sini sikit. At the end of the day, kita akan overwhelmed dengan knowledge.
Yeah.
So kita tak nak overwhelmed dengan knowledge. Kita nak knowledge yang, kalau orang Islam dia panggil berkat. Keberkatan ni dia sikit, walaupun sikit dia jadi banyak. Banyak, kalau berkat lagi banyak. So dengan cikgu ni, especially kalau cikgu yang bukan sahaja bagi ilmu, especially kita Muslim, yang bukan sahaja bagi ilmu, tapi dia bagi ilmu yang relate dengan hakikat. Hakikat ni meaning my guru, alhamdulillah saya belajar dengan Ustaz Faturi. His name is Ustaz Faturi. Dia selalu bagi tahu, mention about hakikat. Hakikat ni meaning apa yang Allah dan Rasul bagi tahu. That's hakikat. Sebab ilmu tanpa hakikat dia jadi maklumat. Ilmu tanpa hakikat dia jadi maklumat. Contoh, jumpa dengan orang. Okay, we met people, alright. Dapat apa? Okay, kita meeting people, itu saja. And then kalau dekat kita belajar dengan Mat Saleh, kan, dia akan cakap networking. Go for networking. You pergi networking. So itu maklumat. If you want to be a successful person, you kena buat networking. And you kena buat dengan networking apa? Dengan orang besar lah, whatsoever lah. Macam just now you mentioned about you have partners dekat apa, Australia because of the networking that you buat for the past berapa tahun ni kan. Itu maklumat. So but then the hakikat, that's why bila kita belajar in Islam, bila kita tahu hakikat, apa hakikat dia? Allah dan Rasul tinggalkan dalam hadis, Nabi kata apa? Dalam silaturahim ada dua benda. Dalam silaturahim ada rezeki dan panjang umur. That's the hakikat. So bila kita sambungkan silaturahim, so Allah janji, that's the hakikat. Allah janji pasti ada rezeki dan pasti ada panjang umur. Macam mana jadi? Wallahu a'lam bisawab. That's the beauty of Islam. So our job is just like follow apa yang Allah dan Rasul bagi tahu, sebab itu confirm. Just kalau let's say you gaduh dengan orang lain, kan, gaduh lah whatsoever, gaduh lah apa-apalah, besar ke kecil ke, doesn't matter kan. Tapi Allah suka kalau kita sambungkan silaturahim. Sambung. So akan datanglah janji Allah tu. Contoh lagi, when I met with Alhamdulillah, takdir Allah, ramai student datang belajar kan. We do one seminar, we call it evolusi. So evolusi itu dulu we just teach digital marketing. And then starting 2020, I realized one thing though. Most of the entrepreneur dipanggil apa dipanggil the fundamental tu tak strong. They know how to get knowledge, but then the knowledge untuk fundamental diri tu tak strong. Dan apa berlaku adalah dia leads to masalah besar usahawan. Dia akan pergi, in fact you buat business, you jadi entrepreneur, tapi dia ada package tau jadi entrepreneur ni. Dia ada package. Package dia apa? Package dia you akan experience depression and anxiety. Dia ada package. So like every day you fikir macam mana nak bayar gaji staff, and macam mana sales hari ni, whatsoever, banyak lah. In fact sekarang ni economy ups and down, OPR naik, macam-macam lah kan, inflation whatsoever. So kita hidup dalam depression and anxiety. Let's say dulu orang kata Facebook ads, so kita buat Facebook ads. Sekarang Facebook ads tak jadi, kurang jadi, bukan tak jadi. If you have, you know, like dia kurang lah berbanding few years back kan. And everybody is talking about TikTok, so you buat TikTok pula. So you tengok orang lain sukses, kenapa you tak sukses, macam-macam benda macam ni kan. So I realised this thing pada tahun 2000, hujung 2019, start 2020. In fact masa tu COVID kan, lagilah teruk, lagi teruk, ni lah kan. And then Alhamdulillah we start to do one training nama evolusi. So dalam evolusi tu I just talk about two things. 2 hari training, 2 things. Day 1 we talk about istighfar. You know, like tak related kan. Macam entrepreneur kena istighfar.
Everybody kena istighfar.
Everybody is like, you kena belajar ilmu tentang how buat marketing whatsoever. Tapi kita, that's the fundamental. If you are a Muslim kan, so apa hakikat dia kalau istighfar? Ini cikgu saya bagi tahulah. Alhamdulillah. Dalam istighfar ni ada 5 janji. Allah janji dalam surah Nuh. 5 janji Allah. Istighfar ni, apa maksud istighfar? Istighfar ni mohon ampun pada Allah, minta ampun. Contoh macam ni lah. Fast. Kalau Fast kawan dengan Elon Musk, he's a billionaire, number 1 billionaire. Dia kata, Fast, minta maaf je dengan aku, I'll give you 1 billion. And what will you do? Minta maaf kan?
Sure, yeah.
Of course, confirm. Setiap kali you minta maaf, I'll transfer you 1 billion. So, how many times you akan minta maaf?
Minta maaf lah. Okay, drive.
Sambil drive. Sorry Elon. Sorry.
Hey
So,
man, sorry man.
Sorry.
Copy
Message lagi, copy paste kan. That's the analogy lah. Kalau orang yang sangat kaya cakap, yeah, you just minta maaf and I will give you everything yang ada dalam dunia ni. So ni Allah bagi tahu. So Allah kata apa? 5 perkara yang kita akan dapat kalau kita istighfar dalam surah Nuh. Nombor 1 Allah kata rezeki selebat hujan. Rezeki. Hujan turun. Can you imagine you tengah like hujan lebat, you masuk 2-3 second pun dah basah kuyup kan. Basah kuyup dengan rezeki. Nombor 2 Allah janji harta. Kita buat podcast sekarang ni, siapa pun yang sedang listening to this podcast, kita sedang cari harta lah, betul tak? Kalau kita bukan nak cari benda lain, kita dengar podcast, especially usahawan tengah cari harta.
Yes.
Allah kata, istighfar aku bagi harta. Nombor 3, Allah janji dalam surah Nuh, anak-anak. Allah bagi anak-anak. So, siapa tak kahwin lagi, istighfar banyak. Yang dah kahwin tak dapat anak, istighfar. Sebab itu memang hakikat. Astaghfirullah. Fahal banyak istighfar. Nak kahwin, astaghfirullah. Kan? 3. Nombor 4, Allah janji apa? Kalau kau istighfar, aku bagi kebun-kebun. So, apa tafsirnya yang alhamdulillah cikgu yang belajar lah kan? Kebun-kebun meaning, kalau kita orang business. Dia tak sebut Allah tak sebut kebun tak. Allah sebut kebun-kebun. Meaning business. Suka tak kalau kita ada banyak business? Suka. And then Allah tak berhenti dekat nombor 4. Allah berhenti dekat Allah bagi satu lagi, nombor 5. Dan di dalamnya ada sungai-sungai. What does it mean? Kalau bagi kebun ni perlu satu benda paling penting. Dia perlu air. That's why dalam Al-Quran kata, dan di dalamnya ada sungai-sungai. Benda paling penting supaya kebun itu mengeluarkan hasil. So, apa tafsir dia kalau kita orang berniaga? Allah bagi kemudahan-kemudahan, staff yang baik, bisnes yang bagus, produk, supplier, kan? Kemudahan-kemudahan yang you tak terfikir pun. Supaya apa? Supaya mengeluarkan hasil your business. Cara satu je, istighfar. So, this is a basic fundamental yang paling mudah yang usahawan kita lupa nak buat. Istighfar, astaghfirullah. Sambil you buat apa yang you buat. How tu definitely kena buat. Marketing kena buat. And you kena buat content. You kena buat, TikTok sekarang ni, zaman TikTok kan. You kena belajar customer service. You kena belajar all the funnels and autoresponder whatsoever. You kena belajar semua tu. Tapi don't forget the fundamental. Fundamental is very easy. Very easy. Tapi, macam tu je.
I think you said something about the entrepreneur. You get like the package of two. And one is anxiety and the other one is
Depression.
Okay. And then I think when you just spoke about your day one, like you said, your evolution training, and there are 2 days. Day one, you talk about istighfar. And that really resonated with me because one of the things, other than the 5 things that you mentioned, berkat, children, businesses, and so on and so forth, I think the one thing that I have gained from my own practice of zikir and istighfar is ketenangan, right? Is peace and calmness. So to address that anxiety, that part of being an entrepreneur, nowadays, of course, also thanks to you and your influence when we went for trainings together as well, I also became in my journey of being an entrepreneur in Malaysia. I also, alhamdulillah, I became a lot more God conscious, and so these days I like while I'm driving, when I'm exercising, when I'm swimming, I istighfar. And one of the things that I find is it makes me a lot more calm. And it also has a lot of health benefits. And, like when you're calm, your blood pressure goes down, everything, like even with regards to weight loss. I think a lot of people that haven't seen me lately, when they see me, say, oh my God, where's the rest of you? Right? And one of the things that affects weight gain or weight loss is stress. So if you're highly stressed, you tend to put on weight. And I think if you zikir a lot, you tend to get that peace. So I definitely can attest to that. What's the second day? What you teach on the second day?
Second day is sedekah.
Oh, fantastic.
Sedekah is like, it's very magical though.
Yes.
I have one story because the story happened like I think around 2010, 13 years back. Masa tu my graduation day dekat Universiti Teknologi Petronas. And then masa tu I belajar dengan my cikgu Ustaz Faturi kata bagi sedekah. Sedekah terbaik adalah sedekah yang menggetarkan hatimu. Itu sedekah yang terbaik. Jadi at that moment kan, masa tu bila nak pergi graduation, masa tu I was engineer dekat Proton, and then pada masa yang sama buat business. Tapi duit tak ada. Duit memang tak ada. So masa pergi graduation tu, my mum, biasa mak ni dia tahu anak dia tak ada duit, tapi dia tak tanya kita. So masa nak pergi graduation tu, my mum tak minta pun duduk kat hotel tau. Dia kata it's okay, kita stay dekat rumah kawan mak. Can you imagine? My mother. Jadi bila duduk rumah kawan mak tu, hari tu hari Jumaat. The graduation day is hari Sabtu. So I tell my mum, kawan-kawan nak jumpa dekat universiti. Kira macam nak, lama dah tak jumpa kan. Like 6 to 1 year pun before the graduation day kan. Kita nak makan-makan dekat kedai mamak yang biasa kita lepak kan. Okay. So pergilah dekat universiti balik. So my mum stay dekat rumah kawan dia. Pergi dekat universiti, makan dekat mamak. Can you imagine masa tu my bank account zero tau, kosong. Tak ada duit. In my wallet ada RM50, ada RM10, ada RM5, ada few singgit macam tu lah. That's it. Jadi bila pergi dekat kedai mamak tu, I was like praying to Allah, kata ya Allah, janganlah budak-budak ni, my colleague, minta belanja dia orang. So I have no money. Kan? So minta ya Allah, janganlah ya Allah. Sambil makan roti canai ni, makan roti canai, jangan ya Allah, jangan. So bila dah habis semua makan, seorang cakap, okay, siapa nak bayar ni semua ni? Sebab most of them dah kerja, ada engineer whatsoever kan. And then suddenly seorang cakap, Fahdi lah bayar. Sebab dia sembang hebat, sembang lebat dekat Facebook, kata tengah buat bisnes. Dia pun kerja kat Proton, engineer. Bayarlah. That moment I think like, sudah habis lah. And then, bukankah korang semua dah kerja ke? Bayar sendirilah masa tu. And then end up, semua bayar sendiri. So I'm like, okay, Alhamdulillah. And then suddenly ada seorang ni cakap, jom pergi solat Jumaat. Sebab tu hari Jumaat. Still clear in my mind. Jom pergi Ipoh. So university to Ipoh is like 30 minutes, 40 minutes macam tu lah. Untuk solat Jumaat dekat satu masjid dekat situ. And then okay, jom ramai-ramai pergi. Then masa tu naik kereta kawan yang dia kerja Petronas. Dia baru beli kereta Suzuki Swift, if I'm not mistaken, warna biru. So I duduk kat belakang. Masa tu dah start like depressed and rasa macam sangat depressed lah, because mak kita, we cannot provide the best untuk dia. Kawan nak suruh belanja tak boleh, kita just makan roti canai je kan. And then in fact duit tu je yang nak survive, nak balik rumah nanti whatever. Sampai dekat masjid, I was like, okay lah, duduk paling depan, soft paling depan. Sebab masa tu kita dah sedih sangat kan. And then I was like, soft paling depan dah penuh. So duduk soft 2 atau 3 macam tu lah. And then masa tu nangis. Rasa useless lah. Loser tau, loser. Sembang dengan Facebook, kencang. Oh, Alhamdulillah hari ni meeting client. Padahal tak closing pun. And then masa tu, at that moment, tengah nangis ni, biasa kalau kita pergi solat, akan ada tabung masjid tau. And masa tu, tengah nangis tu, tiba-tiba bunyi. Itu kita dah tahu dah, ni mesti tabung masjid. Buka je mata, tabung masjid orang tolak daripada belah kanan. So I was like, masa tu tengah doa, ya Allah, aku minta duit, bukan minta keluar duit, ya Allah. Masa tu. Tapi teringat my cikgu pesan, sedekah ni Allah janji, that is hakikat. Itu hakikat nombor 2. Tadi hakikat istighfar, sekarang hakikat sedekah. Allah janji dalam Al-Quran 10 kali ganda. Dalam satu ayat lagi 700 kali ganda. Meaning paling matematik dia macam ni lah. You bagi RM1, Allah ganti RM700. Itu matematik lah kan. So macam, okay, I got, tak ada dah jalan lain. So ini sahaja jalannya. So, ini skim cepat kaya lah maksudnya kan. Tapi Allah bagi tahu macam tu. That's the miracle of sedekah. Jadi masa tu ambil wallet, tengok ada 50, ada 10, ada RM5 dia tinggal masa tu. And then teringat cikgu cakap, sedekah terbaik adalah sedekah yang menggetarkan hatimu. Dalam hadis Nabi, itu bukan hadis Nabi. Rupanya like bila dah besar ni baru jumpa hadis tu. Hadis Nabi kata, sedekah terbaik adalah sedekah ketika engkau takut miskin dan ketika engkau sihat. Maksudnya yang duit tu Kalau aku bagi ni miskin aku. That is the best sedekah. That is the best. Maksudnya level paling tinggi. Maksudnya bergetar hati kita nak bagi tu. That's the best sedekah. So masa tu paling bergetar, which one Faz? 50?
Yeah. All lah actually.
All lah, definitely lah.
But if you have to choose, then it's the 50
lah. And then masa tu I like, Bismillah tawakkaltu ala Allah. Engkau janji ya Allah. Engkau janji ya Allah. Ambil 50, masuk dalam tabung. Continue nangis. Nangis lagi. Sebab sekarang dah tinggal RM15 dalam wallet. Nangis. I think like masa solat pun I still remember nangis. I keluar semua all the kan. Habis solat I keluar paling lambat tau. Paling sebab takut jumpa dengan kawan nampak muka merah semua kan. And then keluar masa tu paling lambat dah. Dah habis dah. Jemaah dah semua keluar. Kawan dah tunggu kat kereta ni. Tengah pakai kasut, suddenly datang seorang makcik tau. Makcik tu cakap, "Dik, akak dah banyak hari tak makan, Dik." Masya Allah. Sekali lagi masa tu cakap kat Allah, "Ya Allah, aku minta duit, bukan minta keluar duit, ya Allah." Tapi bismillahirrahmanirrahim, sedekah terbaik adalah sedekah yang menggetarkan hatimu. I take that.
10.
Of course RM10 lah kan. Ambil RM10 bagi sedekah pada akak tu. Tinggal RM5 je. I got no money. Esok graduation day, mak pun tak tahu nak makan apa, dalam bank kosong. Dalam wallet tinggal RM5. Jalan ke kereta masa tu, serah bulat-bulat pada Allah. Ya Allah, Engkau janji ya Allah. Aku dah buat. Aku dah letak yakin pada Engkau 100%. And then bila I sampai dekat kereta tu, pegang je nak buka je pintu kereta tu, and then suddenly I receive one call tau. Angkat call. Nombor tu tak save, tak apa kan. Keluar nombor. Siapa pula call ni kan kat telefon. Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam. Tuan Fahdi. Ya, saya. Tuan ingat tak kita pernah berjumpa sekian. Oh, saya tak ingat lah tuan kat mana apa semua. Tak apa tuan, it's okay. Tuan, saya rasa saya nak join your business. I want to be your distributor. Suddenly. And then, okay, boleh. Kita ada, tuan ada 3 package kan? Ada 3 package, betul. Saya nak paling mahal tuan. At that moment Faz, I dah buat business tu like dah setahun lebih. Tak pernah ada orang minta beli yang paling mahal tau. Biasanya paling murah berapa Dik? Kan? Yeah. Yang paling mahal untuk jadi distributor about 7,000 masa tu. So I was like 7,000 kak. Masa tu laki. 7,000 bang. 7,000. Saya nak yang 7,000 tu. Bagi bank account, saya bank in sekarang. Can you imagine I give him my bank account, dia terus bank in, I duduk dalam kereta. I was like, kawan-kawan nak pergi ke UTP sebab petang tu ada rehearsal. I was like, duduk dalam kereta terkejut tau. Suddenly masuk 7,000 dalam account.
Masya Allah.
And then miracle tak habis lagi masa tu. Tak habis lagi.
It's not over.
It's not over.
Okay.
Sampai dekat UTP, kawan I park the car, and then I keluar daripada kereta. Suddenly I receive another call. Sama case macam tadi, nombor tak kenal saya. Angkat. The dialogue is just like the same dialogue. Lupa, pernah jumpa, nak join your as distributor, nak beli package paling besar, 7,000. I was like, serious ah. Minggu tu bersih pendapatan. My first RM10,000 bersih.
Oh, that's
that
profit.
Week. Profit, pure profit. Lepas dia dah join distributor kan.
Yeah.
And then tolak pay everything kan. 10,000 pure profit. Can you imagine? Daripada zero, tak ada apa, Allah bagi macam tu. So Alhamdulillah, from that moment I believe itulah hakikat yang Allah kata. Sebab rezeki ni dia punya, bukan kita punya. Majority entrepreneurs, especially Muslim kan, dia kena faham, kerja kita usaha, kerja Allah bagi rezeki. Kau jangan buat kerja Tuhan. Kerja dia, ramai orang dia stress, depression, anxiety because of dia nak buat kerja Tuhan.
Yes.
Kan?
Yes.
Your job is just to do it.
Yes.
Rezeki ni Allah bagi. Dalam satu hadis Nabi kata apa? Kalaulah kita tawakal seperti burung, keluar perut kosong, balik perut kenyang tau. Tawakal dia pada Allah. Tapi kerja dia keluarlah daripada sarang tu. Yeah. Terbang saja. Dengan perut kosong, balik perut kenyang.
Yeah.
So that's today's lah. Alhamdulillah, daripada that is the fundamental. Whoever yang datang, entrepreneur yang datang tu, they get that idea. Alhamdulillah, dia jadi lebih dia panggil apa? Entrepreneur yang tidak takut.
Mhm.
Because the fundamental is good. Alhamdulillah.
I think that's a lovely story, and to be fair, that's like real next level faith, like to give everything, like you said, right? The best sadaqah is when you are healthy, and when you give, you have nothing left, right?
Betul. Hadis Nabi ni. Sedekah terbaik adalah ketika kita takut miskin, dan ketika kita sihat. Kita takut miskin. Dan nombor 2, sihat. Bukan bermaksud masa kita sakit tu kita tak boleh bagi sedekah. Tapi waktu kita sihat, tak ada apa ni, kita bagi. That's the best sedekah.
Absolutely. And I think the two things you touched upon, just that really resonated with me is this. I think ever since I met my wife, and my mindset really changed a lot. Now I give at every opportunity that I get. Somebody is on the street, I have spare change in my pocket, I give. In fact, like right now, it's a bit of a segue, but I'm in the middle of creating like the Al Shifa Foundation. So where basically a lot of my own wealth and assets will go into, which then continues to give even when I'm not around.
Alhamdulillah.
But the thing that you mentioned that is really, really, really important for entrepreneurs, I feel, is the submission, the tawakal, right?
Tawakal.
Like and this will take away all of your anxiety, because your job is to do, your job is to usaha, and then Allah is in charge of the outcome. It's not you. No matter how well you think you do it, no matter what you do, it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's not up to you. It's up to God. It's up to Allah. Like also he said, if it's meant for you, even if it's under the deepest mountain, Allah will give it to you. Correct. If it's not meant for you, even if it's at the end of your nose, you will still not get it. So
anyway, Faz, nak tambah sikit. Sebab bila orang dengar podcast kita ni, ujungnya insyaAllah dia akan rasa nak bagi sedekah. But then we need to understand one thing. Dulu I was like, sedekah ni duit. No. Sedekah ni dalam hadis Nabi kata, segala jenis kebaikan dikira sedekah. Semua kebaikan dikira sedekah. Contoh, today you come from Singapore kan, itu jadual is quite tight kan.
Yes.
Tapi tak apa, kita raikan fast. Itu kebaikan. Buat kita raikan sahabat, buat kebaikan, sahabat rasa best, itu pun dah kira sedekah. That's why kita pernah dengar senyum itu sedekah. Sebab segala jenis kebaikan dikira sedekah. Senyum, sebab tu orang kata senyum itu sedekah. Kita pun tak faham. Bukan ke bagi duit ke sedekah? Bukan. Semua jenis kebaikan. You angkat barang tengah jalan ke, you just like bagi message pada wife, I miss you. Itu kebaikan tau. Bila kebaikan, maksudnya ada janji Allah, ada hakikat, ada janji Allah. Kita bagi I miss you, wife pun rasa best, happy. Baik tak untuk kita berdua? Baik. So kita sedang bagi sedekah perasaan kepada wife. Allah janji 10 kali ganda. So the return tu mesti dapat. Mesti confirm dapat. InsyaAllah itu like, untuk lebih yakin kan, untuk lebih beramal lah insyaAllah.
Thank you. So, right now, everybody looks at your content on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, TikTok pun ada, and they see the end product, or at least at right now Fahdi, right? And that's only the tip of the iceberg. They only see the success. And also, oftentimes at the point when you're already successful, that's when you suddenly get a lot of, generally you get a lot of following, right? But what a lot of people don't see, it's not an overnight success. It's something that's been honed for years, like decades even. What was the most what was the biggest challenge you faced in your business, getting from when you started up to today?
The biggest challenge
Kecabaran yang terbesar.
Cabaran terbesar. Cabaran terbesar. Macam mana? Sebab Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. When we talk about cabaran, I was lucky, Alhamdulillah. Ada seorang cikgu, guru yang ajar tentang hakikat kehidupan. So dalam Al-Quran, Allah kata apa? Dunia ini hanya senda gurau dan permainan. So like dia macam ni contoh, give like simple example.
Yeah.
Okay. Masa sekolah dulu, mesti kita ada kawan-kawan kan. Kawan-kawan yang baik dengan kita. And then kawan-kawan ni biasa dia cakap dengan kita ni bahasa-bahasa yang ni lah. Kalau I'm from Kelantan, so kalau kawan kita panggil, bengong lah mu ni. Bodoh lah mu ni. Kan? Natai beruk ni. Ni lah ayat-ayat tu. Adakah kita akan terasa?
No, not really.
No, not really. Sebab kita tahu kawan kita tu sedang bergurau dengan kita. Teasing kita macam bengong, bodoh lah. Jadi kita pun okay, kita enjoy, kita happy. Lagi dia kutuk kita, sebenarnya kita lagi happy kan. In fact, kalau kita jumpa dengan masa hari raya itu, bukan hari raya, masa bulan puasa, we do like reunion, kawan-kawan sekolah dulu kan, sekolah menengah, jumpa balik, and then kita tak, in fact ada yang buka balik cerita-cerita lama, kita rasa itu okay, tak ada masalah. In fact ada kawan yang kita panggil, orang Kelantan panggil gelar. Gelar ni macam apa bahasa, nickname. Orang Kelantan panggil gelar. Ada yang kita panggil pisang, pisang banana kan. Daripada sekolah dulu sampai sekarang nama dia pisang tau. So dia okay je dengan nama tu. Ada lagi macam-macam lah. Setiap orang in my batch masa tu semua ada nama gelaran. Jadi sebab kita tahu dia senda bergurau. So dalam Al-Quran pun Allah kata hidup ini hanya senda gurau dan permainan. You ada duit, itu senda gurau permainan. You tak ada duit, itu senda gurau permainan. You depression, you senda gurau dan permainan. You tak depression, you happy, senda gurau dan permainan. So kalau you tahu hakikat hidup ini hanya senda gurau dan permainan, it's just hidup. So tak adalah masa difficult ke. So nak jawab soalan Faz tadi itulah. So far Alhamdulillah masa buat bisnes ni, everything yang berlaku dalam hidup lah, sama ada dalam bisnes, kesihatan, situasi semasa ke, duit ke. So I take it easy lah, macam okay lah kan. Just enjoy it. Akan tiba waktunya happy tu datang. Dia macam tidak akan selamanya malam dan tidak akan selamanya siang. So kalau kita faham benda tu, tak adalah masa difficult tu. Dan tidak ada juga waktu kita rasa kita successful. Sebab ni senda gurau ni, aku rasa aku successful, tapi senda gurau ni kejap lagi kan duduk tinggi-tinggi sangat ke bawah kita. Jadi kita relax, kita berhati-hati. Kita tahu life tu macam tu. Allah kata, Allah dah ingatkan dalam Al-Quran, hidup ini hanya senda gurau dan permainan. Jelas ayat tu. Nak menjawab soalan your question tadi itulah. So tak ada. Tapi kalau tanya point yang paling bawah in my life adalah ketika my father pass away. That is the lowest point lah. Sebab masa tu umur 7 tahun. My father accident depan mata, in front of my eyes. Tengah main dengan adik dekat rumah, depan rumah. Dengan main basikal. Pukul 5 biasa tunggulah mak dengan ayah balik kan. And then depan rumah tu memang dia panggil kawasan accident. Dia memang selalu accident kat situ lah. So my father masa tu balik pada kerja, naik motor, and then accident depan rumah. So I was like pegang pintu pagar, tengok kat luar siapa accident tu. And then masa tu ada nenek kata tak apa, biar nenek pergi tengok. Dia keluar pada rumah, then dia come back like 2-3 minutes lepas tu dia come back, nangis. Kata tu abah yang accident. So I have 4 siblings and I was the like number 1 kan, nombor 1 sulung. So masa tu dah faham kalau accident biasanya akan meninggal. So lari masuk dalam toilet, nangis. Masa tu ingat, I still remember, ya Allah jangan ambil abah ya Allah, jangan ambil abah ya Allah, doa masa tu. And then orang ketuk pintu, keluar, dia takut kita do something yang crazy kan, keluar. And then keluar lah lepas tu sebab mak balik. And I still remember masa tu adik yang nombor 4 tu baru lahir. So mak pegang adik tu duduk dekat satu corner dekat rumah tu, pegang macam like terkejut kan, terkejut sebab benda tu berlaku. So malam tu abah tak ada lah. Malam tu terus ke bumi. So that is the, kalau tanya the lowest point, that is the lowest point. That's why I would advise lah for those yang ada anak umur 7 tahun ke atas, jagalah tingkah laku kita depan mereka sebab they totally understand kita dan dia akan ingat sampai bila-bila. Sebab I cannot remember 7 tahun ke bawah tau. Umur 5, 6 I cannot remember. It's like very like kabur kan. Tapi umur 7 tahun is very clear. So anything happen yang berlaku dan dia major dalam budak tu pada usia 7 tahun, dia akan ingat sampai dia besar. Contoh kita gaduh ke apa ke.
Do you feel like, do you remember anything when you're 7 but before the accident?
No.
So it was from the accident then you remember everything.
Yep. Because that's why I said just now, kalau something tu berlaku tu betul-betul impactful.
Yeah.
Kalau impactful at the age of 5, 6 tu mungkin kita tak ingat lagi. 7 tu kita dah start boleh ingat. So that is my like lowest point of my life, turning point. And imagine every single day duduk tidur tu dekat dengan pintu, doa, ya Allah bila abah balik. Tiba-tiba ada orang ketuk pintu, abah balik. Every day. Fast. Every day. Pukul 5 petang akan duduk depan rumah, depan pagar. Always tengok belah kanan. Sebab abah akan balik belah kanan. Doa, ya Allah bila tiba-tiba abah balik. Tiba-tiba dia bawa motor dia balik.
So, where did you go to learn all the things that you teach in Funnel Evo? I mean, obviously it's not just about learning, it's about applying and then getting the results. Because if you learn and you don't apply, there's no result, right? It's all just theory. So where did you go to learn all the ilmu that you have?
Alhamdulillah. So bila my father pass away tu, I ada satu cita-cita, one and only tau. Tak ada cita-cita lain. Very clear. Saya nak jadi doktor. That is my cita-cita masa tu. Doktor tanya, awak nak jadi apa? Doktor. Tak ada lah. Very clear. Direction pergi mana. So kena mesti straight A's. Kan, sebab nak jadi doktor, alhamdulillah UPSR dapat straight A, 5 A's. Masuk sekolah sains, sekolah asrama penuh, boarding school. Masuk boarding school, aim, okay, mesti dapat jadi doktor. So SPM, alhamdulillah dapat 9A. Tapi I don't know why, Allah memang tak bagi laluan tu. Dapat scholarship engineering. Kita nak jadi doktor, yelah tak dapat scholarship buat medik. So engineering. So bila masuk engineering, I was like, apa aku nak buat? Cita-cita dah tak boleh nak capai dah. Masa tu I told my mum, mak boleh tak nak tolak scholarship. Masa tu scholarship Petronas bagi scholarship. Nak tolak scholarship ni, nak masuk matrix atau form 6 atau ambil lah STPM or pergilah mana-mana asalkan ada laluan balik untuk buat medik. Mak kata boleh. Tapi kat belakang tu ada 3 lagi adik. Mak kena sara. Kalau you dapat scholarship ni, you settle. So masa tu I like salahkan mak juga ada masa tu. Memang ya, budak-budak masa tu. Tapi tak apalah. Masuk universiti. Masa tu lah cari cita-cita baru, new ambition. Sebab dia dah mati dah. Hati itu sudah mati masa tu. And then fikir-fikir balik, hey, kalau lah waktu itu family kita, ekonomi tu okay, abah akan pergi kerja dengan kereta. Most probably, insyaAllah dia masih hidup. So economy is very important. So I have like that belief tau, macam ekonomi. So macam mana ekonomi? Orang semua nak jadi doktor sebab ekonomi juga kan. Doktor whatsoever, dapat duit banyak kan. So nak buat ekonomi ni macam mana? Fikir balik. Kita hanya ada few option je. Sama ada jadi doktor, engineer, arkitek. Itu je lah. Boarding school dia akan 3 ni lah. Doktor, doktor, engineer, arkitek. Itu je. So masa tu tak boleh, tak minat. Masa tu belajar dekat universiti memang tak minat engineering. Tapi alhamdulillah boleh dapat lah, sebab kalau tak Petronas tak ada scholarship. Kan? Okay lah, boleh lah dapat 3-pointer whatever. Tapi tak minat. Tiba-tiba adalah masa tu buat research, jumpa satu perkataan tau, business. Macam apakah itu business? Kan? Business, lepas tu baca Nabi pun berniaga apa semua. Masa tu lah start belajar buat bisnes. Alhamdulillah. Dan start belajar tu beli buku dulu. Beli buku-buku yang ada available, jadi jutawan lah apa benda masa tu. And then alhamdulillah, takdir Allah, the best thing dalam hidup bila kita buat bisnes adalah bila kita ada cikgu, kita ada guru, kita ada mentor. Kan? So diorang yang akan bagi tahu step by step nak buat apa. So alhamdulillah, I have mentors dalam business. Dekat Malaysia ada, dekat luar negara ada. Belajar daripada diorang. Then daripada situlah kita start build kita punya business. Online punya business. Masa tu start belajar buat WordPress, tulis blog, kan? And then start buat duit dengan AdSense, zaman-zaman tu lah kan. And then start jual benda-benda related macam domain names kan, dapat affiliates kan, buat benda-benda tu. And then start buat Google Ads, nak dapat traffic kan, dapat Google Ads. And then alhamdulillah along the way benda tu berterusan sampailah belajar, habis belajar. Masa belajar pun ada lagi buat bisnes lain, jual baju dan sebagainya, jual makanan macam-macam lah dekat universiti. And then habis universiti, start buat bisnes yang related dengan networking kan, network business kan, jual barang-barang. Alhamdulillah, lepas tu kita start buat bisnes produk sendiri, lepas tu servis sendiri, sampailah alhamdulillah hari ni.
So it was, I mean, if I were to break it down, a lot of it also has to be with you being resourceful. I mean, you didn't have like the resources. Like say for example, you wanted to be a doctor, and it wasn't in the cards for you. You decided that you wanted to find a new path, and but you didn't have the money lah. Basically, it's with the lack of resources, you need to be resourceful. So you started your own business while you were in university at the time when you started your first business.
Yep, university.
Okay, cool. And the fastest way to success is finding mentors.
That is the fastest way lah. Sebab daripada mentors tu kita dapat knowledge. Sebab ujungnya kita nak bertindak tu, dia macam ni lah. Nak bawa kereta, you have sports car, you ada like sports car tu ada minyak full tank kan, tapi you tak tahu macam mana nak masuk gear, tak tahu nak tekan macam mana, dan tak pergi. Naik kereta Mercedes, gear dia dekat tangan kan, kereta lain gear dia dekat tengah. Kalau tengok BMW sekarang, dia punya gear dah tak ada dah dia punya apa dia panggil
It's fun like.
So semua tu perlu ada knowledge macam nak buka. In fact sekarang ni I pergi dekat satu motor show, auto show. nak buka pintu kereta tak tahu tau. Sebab dulu pintu kereta kita buka macam ni kan. Sekarang dia kena tekan tau. I was like duduk dalam kereta, tak ingat kereta apa. Duduk, ada orang tengah tunggu nak masuk tau. Tapi I cannot keluar daripada kereta tu sebab tak tahu nak macam mana.
I had that same problem. It was a Tesla. First, I don't know how to go in. How am I going to pull this door? And then when I'm inside, I don't know how to go out. Where is the I have the same problem as you.
So kena ada orang cakap, orang datang, dia kena bagi ilmu pada kita. Ni macam ni nak buka pintu kereta. Oh, okay. Nak buka pintu kereta pun kita kena belajar kan. Apatah lagi nak buat bisnes.
So I think a while ago we talked about your program, your 2-day program Revolusi, where your first day we talk about Istighfar, and second day you talk about Sadaqah, right? So that is the base. That's the foundation. That's mindset, right? Like and then you go into the how. For anybody who's starting a business from scratch, new entrepreneur, like completely novice, never learned from anybody before, what would you advise their first steps to be?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The best bila kita nak start business, cari masalah dulu. Cari masalah. Okay, masalah apa? Yang dekat kita punya circle boleh, tengok dekat online boleh. What is the problem? Contoh, baru habis raya. Apa masalah terbesar orang nak raya? Dia mesti nak cari baju raya.
Yes.
Betul? Dia nak cari songkok, dia nak cari kain, dia nak cari baju, dia nak cari biskut raya, dia nak cari langsir baru, dia nak cari segala benda baru lah kan. Masa raya. So, your job adalah untuk selesaikan masalah dia. The problem kebanyakan usahawan yang dia nak start, dia tak fikir masalah orang, dia fikir masalah dia. Dia selalu fikir masalah aku tak ada duit. People don't care about your problem.
Absolutely.
Kan?
Yes.
So macam mana you nak jadi businessman, businesswoman? Tengok masalah, cari masalah. Okay, masalah ni you boleh selesaikan tak? Kalau boleh, cara nak selesai boleh cari sama ada produk atau servis. Kalau you nak mula dengan paling cepat, you cari benda yang boleh diselesaikan dengan servis yang you tahu. You boleh buat tanpa perlukan kos. Your knowledge ke apa ke, doesn't matter lah. Yesterday I meet with apa nama dia, lupa nama dia, one guy nama Imran. Yes, Imran. Apa yang dia buat adalah dia bagi servis consulting for those yang nak buka like yayasan, nak buka yayasan, nak buka foundation lah, foundation, nak buka company berhad, nak pergi ke IPO. So dia tak ada office. Dia just like relax. Okay, you perlu, okay, I datang jumpa you, you boleh phone call I. So retainer fee, kan, retainer fee boleh up to berbelas ribu untuk satu bulan tau, untuk satu company. Can you imagine? So apa yang dia provide? Dia provide skills je, itu saja. And then kalau you perlu lawyer, dia akan carikan lawyer untuk you. Lawyer ni, lawyer tu. So dia just buat kerja untuk advise people. So itu boleh dibuat. Macam-macam. As long as you tahu, you ada clarity in term of problem. Lepas tu you carilah solution macam mana.
Yeah, I mean the whole point of business people is to solve problems, right? Like if you solve a problem, I'll give you an example. I was talking to Afiq yesterday. So I need a cabinet, right? I need a cabinet in my house. I can build the cabinet. It's going to cost me maybe $3,000 worth of wood and tools and everything else, and time. I will probably waste all that $3,000 worth of wood, and I still have to go and buy more. Or I can go to a carpenter. He already has the tools. He already probably has a wood supplier that will supply it to him for cheaper. And even instead of spending $3,000 and doing it myself, I can pay him $3,000 and he will still have profit, right? Because he's more efficient in doing it. He will take less time. It will cost him less money. So essentially, what you're saying is we need to be able to solve a problem better than somebody else. or at least, or I solve a problem for you that you're not willing to solve yourself, or you're willing to pay to solve a problem. And which also brings me to my other point is when we talk about wealthy people or successful people, their time is worth a lot of money. They would rather pay somebody else to do something than have to do it themselves. So solving problems for rich people is actually quite a good place to start, especially if it's a service. And that's also one of the things I learned from my own readings, like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think one of the things that he this is what I learned from him as well, is everybody thinks if you want to, especially if you haven't been in business before, if everybody thinks that to start a business you need money, but you don't need money. What you need is resources. Resources can be money, resources can be time, resources can be networks, resources can be database. There are just so many resources you can use that it's not necessarily money that can help you generate money. Yeah. And so let's say, being problem focused so that you can find solutions to this problem, because how much money you make is determined by the value of the solution, right? The bigger the problem, the bigger the value of the solution, or the more expensive the problem. But they don't have, because these are new entrepreneurs, they don't have the ilmu, they don't have the knowledge. What would you recommend them to do then?
Okay, paling senang lah ni. Kalau you baru nak start, you tak ada knowledge and you tak ada capital besar, you jadi je agent orang lain. That's it. Simple. Sebab bila you jadi agent orang lain, definitely you akan, bukan saja you ada produk, you akan ada access to knowledge yang that particular company akan buat. Sebab dia nak sales. So bila dia nak sales, dia kena train dia punya distributor untuk buat sales, kan? So yeah, that's why for me, antara the best place to start adalah you join networking punya network marketing punya company, kan? Ataupun business company yang buat business guna agent punya strategi kan, model kan. So you jual. In fact, banyak je yang those company ni yang bagi good margins. And so in fact, kalau dia dah buat branding, your job is to like letakkan that product depan mata orang saja. Itu saja. Kan? Like dekat if you jadi agent orang lain pun, dia ada satu lagi kelebihan tau. Kelebihannya adalah you akan ada kawan-kawan yang like-minded punya orang, kan. Macam contoh, yourself tadi bagi tahu jumpa your mentor bila you pay 15,000 untuk masuk dalam circle tu. So you need to pay 15,000 tau. Tapi kalau you buat network marketing ke business, atau you jadi agent orang lain ke, you akan jumpa kawan-kawan yang lebih kurang kita, yang ada semangat nak fight ni. And then the miracle happen akan jadi lagi 5-10 tahun. And suddenly masa tu you nak establish your own business yang memang betul-betul lah ni. Siapa yang you akan invite jadi your business partner untuk fight together? Definitely kawan-kawan yang you dah jumpa sekarang.
I actually that's a very good point lah. When I was just out of the army, because in Singapore we have to do national service.
Oh yeah, right? Really?
I was in the army, and well, the problem is in the army I didn't really lose weight because I was in charge of looking after the food, making sure it's halal. I was a ration store man. But one of the friends that I met in army was my friend Imran, different from your Imran, was Imran. And straight out of army, I was invited to join a network marketing company by one of my secondary school friends who was also an officer in the same company, in the same barracks, right? And I went there, and my first enrollment into
downline.
My first downline. My first downline was Imran.
Okay.
And through the fighting, as in not fighting with each other, through fighting achieving the challenges and building that network marketing business together. We went through a lot of challenges. I mean, I remember there was one time we were going through a sales challenge to get upgraded, right? And we needed to make about $15,000 in sales by the next day.
Okay.
I had already completed my challenge, but I wanted to help Imran hit his, and he had a few prospects to meet. So we went out, and but I don't know if I should say this on there, but it's okay, doesn't matter. That was so long ago, right? So we were supposed to show up for army the next day. Actually, I finished army already, but he still had to go to army, right? So with the last $50 we had in our wallets, actually, we went to the 24-hour clinic. We complained of food poisoning, and we got MC for the next 2 days. But now this is Singapore, right? And we had it was 11:30 at night, and we had no way to go back home because, I mean, obviously we don't have money for a taxi. We just spent our last $50. MRT was the trains were not running already. Basically, we couldn't get back home lah. So at that point, I had to call another good friend of mine that lives near that clinic, and we went there, and we spent the night there at my friend's house. Like, we literally went to knock on his door, like knock on his window, right? And we stayed there until 6:00 until we could get a bus home. And then the next day we went for a meeting, and alhamdulillah we hit our target. But the biggest thing about that, and then after that, beyond that, Imran and I, 10 years later, 5 years later, we started Street Smart University together. We started our own digital marketing agency together. We basically were business partners for the better part of 15 years, right? But what you said was about joining a network marketing company, like when you want to start business, I think is really important. I think the network marketing industry has gotten a lot of there's a lot of stigma, right? A lot of people feel like, oh, it's a scam industry, or but the truth is, the 2 years that I was in the network marketing company, I learned so much more than the 3 years I did my business degree. When I got in, it was a relatively small company. I managed to learn directly from the CEO. Within weeks, I did my first mass presentation, which is like, public speaking, and I was 21 years old, right? So the amount of experience you get, because it is in their interest to train you. Because if you are ineffective, then what's the point? They're just wasting money on you. But so it is in their interest to make you get the skills. I just want to expand on that a little bit also, because a lot of people don't realize how effective network marketing companies are in building entrepreneurs. Because when you join a network marketing company, the first skill you're going to need is sales skills, because if you can't sell, you're not going to make any money. After you have sales skills, you're going to need to have management skills, because you're going to have downlines that you're going to need to manage. You're going to need to be able to train them. You're going to need to, and help them ascend as well. So these are so many skills that are important for entrepreneurs, that you get training for free in a network marketing company. Yep. So I 100% agree with you. 100%.
In fact, macam I bagi tahu tadi, dekat situ tu bukan saja kita dapat knowledge, kita dapat networking. Okay, contoh macam ni. Pernah baca buku ni, Start With Why, Simon Sinek?
Of course, okay. I love him.
Dalam satu chapter, in one chapter, dia ada sebut satu ni tau. Kalau kita tengok company besar dunia, most of them akan ada dua orang. Satu yang why person, and then another one is how person. And then dia bagi contoh Apple. Dia ada Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. So Steve Jobs is like why people, Steve Wozniak is how people kan. Kerja dia okay, macam mana nak buat dia fikir. Dua ni adalah kawan. You need to understand, ni kawan dia. And then kalau tengok Disney dua orang juga. Of course Walt Disney dengan dia punya his brother kan. So Walt Disney kerja dia fikir ke depan, then yang his brother tu kerja dia buat how, macam mana nak buat apa nama dia punya brother tu lupa. basically dia bukan kawan, dia family, tapi orang yang dekat juga. Kalau kita tengok contoh ketiga, Microsoft,
Yes.
Bill Gates dengan Paul Allen kan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Paul Allen, if I'm not mistaken. Ni pun kawan juga, dua ni. So
Yeah.
ada banyak lagi dia panggil case study. It's clear that nak build business ni, when we try to cari partner yang bagus, biasanya dia datang daripada kisah lama kita, sahabat-sahabat lama kita. Kalau you suddenly nak jom join partner kita dengan orang yang baru you kenal, biasanya dia tak tahan lama lah. Kan? So it's very important untuk kita start somewhere and then join je mana-mana company. I'm not talking just like network marketing punya company. Dia boleh jadi insurance company. Insurance company was very good. Dia banyak training apa semua kan. Mungkin kita tak berjaya kat situ, tapi kita dapat knowledge banyak kat situ kan. And then ada juga company yang tak buat MLM, tapi dia buat untuk agentship punya ni style. So kita boleh join this kind of company kan. You will learn a lot. You can get networking daripada situ, insyaAllah.
Amin. That's pretty much all we have to talk about today. I just wanted to know if there's any last bits of advice that you have for aspiring entrepreneurs. What is the most important thing for aspiring entrepreneurs, mid-level entrepreneurs, experienced entrepreneurs? What do you think is the most impactful advice that you can give them?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. For me, as a Muslim, okay, Faz, I wanted to ask you one question.
Okay.
Faz suka hidup logik atau hidup magic?
Magic
lah, because word magic tu it's magical kan. So as entrepreneur, sebagai Muslim, banyak magic boleh berlaku. If kita ingat balik hakikat rezeki kita ni daripada Allah. So ayat dia yang saya nak tinggalkan para pendengar hari ni adalah, kalau kita nak hidup kita magic, dapat rezeki magic, kan? Dapat sales, tiba-tiba dapat sales magic, kan? Magic ni benda-benda tiba-tiba lah kan, betul tak? Tiba-tiba suddenly macam dapat present, dapat hadiah, tiba-tiba tak terfikir pun kan. Ingat 3 ayat ni. Pertama, buat apa Allah suka, Allah bagi apa kita suka. Itu ayat pertama. Buat apa Allah suka, Allah bagi apa kita suka. Nombor 2, susah-susahkan diri, tinggalkan apa yang Allah benci, nescaya mudah-mudah saja Allah kabulkan hajat di hati. Susah-susahkan diri, tinggalkan apa yang Allah benci, nescaya mudah-mudah saja Allah kabulkan hajat di hati. Nombor 3, rezeki tak lambat tak cepat, rezeki tak salah alamat. Rezeki tak lambat tak cepat, rezeki tak salah alamat. So the key point adalah, untuk kita hidup magic, buat apa Allah suka, Allah bagi apa kita suka. Kalau benda tu kita suka tapi Allah tak suka, susah-susahkan diri, tinggalkan apa Allah benci. InsyaAllah mudah-mudahan saja Allah kabulkan hajat di hati. Nombor 3, rezeki tak lambat tak cepat, rezeki tak salah alamat. Kalaulah satu dunia, Fas, bertolong-tolongan untuk beri kita satu benda, bertolong-tolongan, 7 bilion manusia bertolong-tolong ni, pegang tangan satu sama lain nak bagi pada kita something, kalau Allah kata tidak. Tapi kalau satu dunia bertolong-tolongan untuk tarik benda tu daripada kita, jangan bagi pada Fas benda ni, tak boleh, 7 bilion tau, semua satu dunia, the whole world bertolong-tolongan, Allah kata ya. Dia tak lambat tak cepat, dia takkan salah alamat. Maksudnya kalau ikan di laut tu, ini memang mulut Fas akan masuk dalam mulut dia, maka datanglah dia dengan cara macam mana pun, akan adalah fisherman ambil dia, lepas tu naik truck, jalan beribu kilometer, duduk dalam pinggan kita, tak salah alamat. Kalau itu untuk kita.
Amin.
InsyaAllah.
Thank you very much, Fahdi. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us today. I got a lot. I learned a lot. There were a couple moments you almost had me crying, but I managed to contain it. I know that anybody listening or watching today would have gotten a lot from it. So thank you very much for your time.